Hello. Today we're going to learn how to do a checkbox configuration. You should have a sample file, so you should be able to click and make a copy of this sample file, and we're going to learn how to checkbox configure something. So before we get into practicing on this ratchet, let me give you an example in a new part studio of how a checkbox configuration works. Let me just create a rough cylinder here to use as an example. I'm going to create a cylinder check. I'm going to open my configuration panel. When you configure the Part Studio, it default creates a list configuration. We're going to instead configure it using a checkbox configuration, and we're going to give it a name, such as extruded. So you can see our traces are a check or a no check. No features are configured. So I'm going to configure the fact that it's extruded or not. And what I'm going to configure is if it's suppressed or unsuppressed right here. Click. And you can see that when it's unchecked right here, I want to make sure unsuppressed is unchecked and suppressed is checked. So if I go here into this configuration panel, I can click and unclick, and it will choose between whether or not it's extruded or not. You can also do like different features. Like let's say I have a fillet. I could create a new checkbox configuration. See how down here at the bottom, add configuration input, I can choose checkbox as an option. And I'm going to call this rounded edges. And I can configure the fillet to be suppressed or not. Done. This is unchecked. This is checked. So you can see now I can choose whether or not it has a rounded edge by going up here on the top left and clicking or unclicking. So this is how the checkbox configuration works. Your guys' mission today is to take this ratchet head. Here is the ratchet head, and we're going to create a checkbox configuration for this ratchet head to have it be either a deep ratchet or a shallow ratchet. So here are the requirements. So you can see the first one right here has configured length, head depth, ratchet depths, and ratchet notch. And then if you uncheck right here, it'll change it back and forth between a deep socket and a regular socket. So for each of these, you can see these are the features that you are configuring. And in the drawing, each of those is specifically listed. So you can see that this is the head depth, the overall length, the ratchet depth, etc. So knowing that, let's get started creating our socket.